Starts in 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh my God, did you hear about Epstein? What's up, everyone? It's America Plus. I'm your host, McCormick. It's another week, another episode. What's going on, everybody? It's Sunday, July 13th, 6:52 in the p.m. What's going on, everybody? Happy to be here. It's a beautiful day to be alive, folks. Oh my God, folks, guys, I'm coming to you in great vibes right now. I had my first day of my new job, and I don't want to tell you anything about it because I don't want to be fucking fired again. So I don't want to get anyone hyped up. I don't want to be hyped up either, because, like, what if I am fired in the next few days? That'd be fucking stupid, right? But I did get a new job. I'm making car keys now. That's my job. It's a pretty fun job. I'm making car keys. Yeah, random ass job, but it's one of those jobs that's like came out of nowhere, and it might be better than any job I've ever had in my life. Specifically just because of the money. So pretty cool. Very happy about that. Pretty chill crew, I think. So nothing to complain about, really. This week, guys, this is a big week, okay? A lot of things happened this week. As you can tell by the title, we're talking about something hot. It's hot, dude. This topic's hot. It's radioactive, dude. That's why the picture looks the way it is. So radioactive. We need to talk about Epstein. We need to talk about Trump's cover-up. We need to talk about the truth. Everything's been going on so, like, it's topsy-turvy, dude. The earth keeps spinning, but at the same time it's upside down, and this is such a crazy time to be alive. And what I want to focus on this week is just there's a string of thought that I am aligned with that no one else on earth is aligned with. Okay, I think I'm one of 2 people, or maybe one of 5 people, who thinks this way. Now, full disclosure, I'm a listener of No Agenda. I'm a producer of No Agenda. And what you're about to hear, they briefly discussed this, and I swear to God, I'm not copying No Agenda. This was like, I was planning on doing this format way before they started live streaming today. But I need to talk about what's been going on. I'm going to read a little bit of what Trump has been talking about. And I'm also going to read some other tweets, okay? No real clips, but I will be reading some tweets today. Okay, so first of all, let me just catch you guys up. If you don't already know, they're not releasing the Epstein files. And Trump came out and said some crazy stuff that I think is a completely new angle. It's a completely new take. And it's something that no one has ever considered before. And now Trump is just throwing this out here, and it's really mind-boggling. So first of all, let me just say, I'm on Trump's Truth right now. I posted it. So Donald Trump, a couple days ago, he said, "What's going on with my boys, and in some cases, gals? They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA. And I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration, the talk of the world, and selfish people are trying to hurt it all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration who conned the world with the Russia hoax, 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, and more? They created the Epstein files just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton and Christopher Steele dossier that they used on me, and now my so-called friends are playing right into their hands." So yeah, that's crazy, right? So hang on. Trump just threw in a crazy bomb, dude. Why did he say this? Okay, so this is a completely new theory that we need to talk about. The fallout from this post and the fallout of the entire administration not moving forward with the Epstein really says a lot about the administration and about people commentating on this whole thing, okay? I guess people expected for the Epstein files to be released. Me personally, that's not why I voted for Trump. I voted for Trump because of the economy and because I just thought he was the best choice, okay? That's my honest opinion. I wanted the JFK files to be released. I wanted the MLK and Bobby Kennedy files to be released as well. You know, those things were like top tier for me as well. But I was mainly worried about the economy. I guess there's like a whole slew of people, not even people, podcasters, which is a completely separate group from people, who expected the Epstein files to come out. And I think they're the only people who are upset about the Epstein files not being released are people who make money from podcasting and commentating, because this is like the most like salacious situation ever. And it's been a conspiracy theory since 2019, I think. No one knew who Jeffrey Epstein was until he freaking died. Okay. And then as soon as he died, everyone became a freaking expert on this person. And so for the longest time, it's always been Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. And there's like people like swarming the media, swarming the news crews, and just like slipping that in. You know, that was a funny thing during 2020, during lockdowns. Like it was really during lockdowns. Like I'm talking about the first like few months, right? The first few months of COVID is when people started going crazy with the Epstein stuff. And just with conspiracies in general. You know, that's when conspiracy, what do you want to call it? Conspiracy lane or conspiracy-topia? That's when conspiracy-topia really, really blossomed, and people were more willing to think about these things in a more open manner. But what has never come up is this little thing, Obama and Hillary and Comey and Brennan, like the FBI and the CIA during, I guess just like during the last like decade or so, they're the ones who might have written the so-called Epstein files. Okay, this is very interesting because for as long as there's been an Epstein conspiracy, it's always been like they are hiding it because they are concealing their own guilt. Okay, that's been the conspiracy. And now we have Trump coming in saying that these are allegedly not truthful documents because they're written by people lying about them. Okay. Even though Epstein is a real person and he might have died, he might have not died, there's definitely trafficking happening to his island. Okay. There's this is one of the hottest conspiracies ever, okay? And I have a take that not a lot of people are talking about. Pretty much, long story short, I am not upset that Trump is not releasing the Epstein files because from my perspective and from what I have read, this goes into something much, much darker. All the podcasters like Candace Owens and Ian Carroll and Andrew Scholes and whoever else wants to talk about this whole thing, Tucker Carlson and whatever, dude, even Alex Jones, he got upset for a minute. These people are just flip-flopping on how they feel about these decisions. And the way I see it, I think this is a very thoughtful choice considering the truth of the matter, okay? And I want to read you a tweet from Scott Adams, okay? They read this on No Agenda, but I retweeted this. They didn't retweet this. I thought this was a great take, okay? And then I'm going to tell you like what I believe the actual truth is, okay? So Scott Adams has to say, if you see the Epstein story as a crime story, which of course it is, you probably favor maximum disclosure of everyone and everything involved, including innocent people, like a typical court case. If you see the Epstein story as something bigger, involving more than one nation, you might see it as a commander-in-chief issue, meaning the public is not meant to have the full story, similar to most national defense issues. We elect a president to decide, in part, what the public can safely see. Would you favor full disclosure if you knew it would derail a peace negotiation? Would you favor full disclosure if you knew it would end Republican control of Congress and plunge the country back into a Democrat open border hellscape? If you can't say what you would give up to get the full Epstein disclosure you crave, you're not a serious person. And so I thought that was like, I'm giving a round of applause to Scott Adams. I think that's a great take. I think that's a really good take from Scott because, first of all, I think it's nuanced. And a lot of people talking about the Epstein stuff, they want to make it very simple. They want to make this scenario very simple. And a lot of people are saying that Scott Adams is like, this is an L on Scott Adams. He's not really just like one person says Scott Adams is basically admitting that Trump and the other big Republicans are in on the Epstein list and they're terrified it'll cost them the midterms. Oh, holy shit, dude. So you're telling me, so like the most stupid perspective ever is that they don't want to lose the midterms and that's why they're covering up? What? That's so fucking retarded. That's retarded, dude. The reason they are not releasing this stuff, the reason, okay, is because, and I think it's just obvious, is because the Epstein stuff is much, much darker than what has been discussed, okay? Everyone is talking about pedophiles. Everyone is talking about sex on Epstein's island. And everyone is talking about blackmail, okay? This is not about blackmail. This is not about sex. From my perspective, from the information I have read, the Epstein stuff is connected to Satanism and cloning. Okay? And I'm being dead ass serious. And you're going to have to prove me wrong here because I'm just going to read you what I read, okay? From that, because I think this is a commander-in-chief issue, like Scott Adams said. I think the commander-in-chief is not releasing this information because it could derail peace negotiations. It could bring people who are on the bad side, who are aligned with dark forces, to take back control. Okay? It was clear that during the Biden administration that America was falling. Tens and millions of illegal immigrants were coming over the border, not just from Mexico and not just from South American countries. It was just people, so many illegal immigrants, and ruining this country in terms of, like, I don't know, like objectively, like I think the data's in on it. Like there were jobs being taken away and all of our social services were being overrun. And they were also just giving them thousands of dollars in credit cards and gift cards and stuff like that. Like it was just an insane amount of time. And that's just one example of this. If you think that they're hiding pedophilia, I'm telling you the God's honest truth. Like that's not the highest bar of evil. That's just not the highest bar of evil. Now, let me go to it. What else do I have here? Okay, so what I have to share, okay, and there's a couple clips, so I'm not going to play the clips. I got to share my guy Cab, okay? I used to say Cabe, now it's Cab. This is what's going on with the Epstein Island, okay? This is what Cab has to say. They'll never tell the truth about Epstein Island. Children were brought to be sacrificed to dark entities in areas below Epstein's mock temple. Concrete was poured to seal it up after he was caught. There are operations happening at a much higher level than the FBI, but we won't hear about them until the shift, aka New Earth, aka the Rapture. Military white hats make arrests. Black hats use rapid cloning to conceal them. Without disclosure of rapid cloning, there can't be disclosure of the rest of it. Okay, and this is connected to another tweet about Epstein that he has to share. This is, where'd it go? I just lost it. Here it is. It says, Epstein's New Mexico ranch was called Westworld, which is a direct reference to a television show about synthetic humans. The ranch featured a labyrinth design, which also connects to the mythological gods they worship. Okay? So, Cab has to say that Epstein is not, it's not pedophilia. It's not just pedophilia. Like, that might be one aspect of it. The real harm and the real thing that is being concealed is that this guy was connected to the worst of the worst and the quote unquote satanic cabal that is against the light. You know, there are humans that are aligned with, I'm just gonna say it, the literal devil, and there's witchcraft going on. There's blood rituals going on. There's human cloning going on. Okay, and they use the clones within these rituals to channel these dark entities, and they sacrifice children to these entities for power, for perceived power. I don't have all the itty bitty details on it, but pretty much think of a story where little kids and people are being sacrificed for power and influence, and that's what's going on here, dude. That's what's going on. And when I think about that, and when I think about Trump, I'm willing to say that Trump is making the right call by not releasing it, because this is not an American issue. This is not a MAGA, Democrat, Republican issue. This is going on globally. There are people across the world, leaders across the world, who are aligned with the darkest forces our species has ever known. Okay. And they make these deals. What do you think this whole selling your soul thing is? Do you think that's just a phrase, or do you think that's something that's really happening? Okay. And why is there so many kids missing? You know, are these kids only getting trafficked? You know, like, why would they not just find all the kids? If the kids are alive, I think they have the technology to find them. If they never find a kid again, where does the kid go? And I don't say this lightly. I don't say this as a joke. I don't say this as a dunk. But this whole conspiracy is much, much, much darker than anyone is willing to discuss right now. And it is because of that dark truth that I believe Donald Trump told his administration to not release it. And this is above their pay grade, and it's something that needs to be not really discussed anymore. Because at in the immediate day, with the what's going on within America, what's going on with Earth, there's things to take control over. Like there's bigger things to handle in the present moment than to release this truth. Okay? Because Trump is trying to put out the fires within the wars. He's negotiating peace between Russia and Ukraine. He's doing his best, even though that's manipulated by dark forces. He's doing his best to end war between Israel and Iran, and Israel and Gaza. And even though, and those wars are also manipulated, and Trump is doing his best to make the American economy amazing and strong and robust. And he's doing everything as he can to create and to allow innovation with new types of money and new technology. Okay. I see Trump as being very open to business and peace and innovation. And there's a system, there's a force that is against those things and seeks to use some of those things, use the technology for their own power. And Trump is, from my perspective, on the side of the light, unequivocally. And I say this on the 1 year anniversary of the assassination attempt of Donald J. Trump. Okay. And I know that, like, I'm probably gonna get roasted for, you know, just riding Trump's dick, you know, but I'm not trying to ride the guy's dick. I'm trying to look at things objectively. And on this 1 year anniversary, there's all these people trying to say that Trump betrayed us. Trump is a liar. Trump is not keeping his word. And yet, on this day, I'm reminded of a miracle. I'm reminded of the day that he was centimeters away from being shot. And he stood back up and he yelled, "Fight, fight, fight." He put his fist in the air, dude. And we got these iconic photos, and we got this vibe of like, holy shit, this guy is pure American. Like, we witnessed a miracle. And I feel like people have forgotten the miracle. And the miracle is he was saved. Is it really just chance? Is it really just probabilities that kept Trump alive? Or was there something conscious around Trump that day when the bullet grazed his ear? I'm telling you right now, there were angels on that stage with him, and he was protected by the highest forces that this earth has known, by the lightest forces that this earth has known. The beings that protected Trump are aligned with the light. And the beings that are trying to harm Trump through his action, like trying to harm him by blocking his laws, blocking his new rules, blocking his new regulations, and trying to kill him, those are the dark forces. You know, the Secret Service people who didn't do their due diligence or were told to not do their due diligence on that roof that day, those people are aligned with the dark, or they're being manipulated by other people who are aligned with the dark. It's so clear that somebody, some group of people want this man dead, and they couldn't even do it from 150 yards away. I don't even shoot guns, and I can shoot something from 150 yards away, dude. They cannot kill this man. And you want to tell me that he's a liar because he's not releasing information about pedophiles? You don't even know what the biggest evil is, dude. Like in my perspective, there's like levels of evil, right? I mean, evil is evil, but like, I think murdering kids is above like having sex with kids, like, or maybe they're equal. I don't know, dude. I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm saying there's like, there's a difference. There's a big difference. And I think the information would be not as devastating if it was just pedophilia. I think it is globally catastrophic if the truth is satanic cabal murdering children for power, sacrificing kids to the devil. Oh, when I say the devil, you know, like there's like a more specific name, but I'm not trying to get into that right now. But it's dark. It's dark. And I just don't see how Trump is aligned with darkness. I just don't. Because what does America need to do, you know? America needs to do its best to be self-sustaining and to not have other people control it and to not be dependent on enemy nations stripping it from its resources, you know? And that's what Trump is trying to do. Trump is trying to make America, like the vision of Make America Great Again is making America self-sufficient within all avenues of industry. And I'm trying to do that for myself, okay? I'm trying to make coal great again. I'm trying to make Mr. McCormick great again, you know? I got my own MAGA going on. Yeah, man, that's the take. That's the take. I think this whole thing just goes a lot darker, and it's just crazy, dude. It's crazy. You might not agree with me. You might not think I'm accurate on that, but I certainly believe that I am accurate on that, and I think it's a bigger situation than a lot of people wanna admit to. So that's just me, though, dude. That's just me. Tell me what you think. Do you think I'm totally off my rocker with this scenario, or do you think that I might be onto something? Because, you know, there's a lot of people who want to control the narrative. And I think it's plausible, going back to Trump's truth post, it's plausible that Obama and Hillary and these other like people who are like, you know, aligned with the dark, I think it's possible that they would create a narrative, a story, and possibly fake files about something else that covers up the truth. Okay, it's something bad, but it's not something that can be seen, and it's out there. It's away. It's not immediate, and it's like an idea that gets in people's minds, and people are lustful for this idea. You know, that's something that I see within the podcasting and commentating space. All these podcasters are just lustful to get this pedophilia story accurate. They're lustful to get it out there. They're lustful to be right. Like, Trump is lying. Trump is protecting pedophiles. Like, imagine like some sex voice. He's like, he's doing it. I feel like that's how they talk. I feel like that's like the energy they're giving off. They're just like they're getting hard at this pedophile story. Like, oh, I want this out so bad. That's Candace Owens. Yeah, dude. It's I'm not upset because there's bigger things. No, I don't want to say bigger things, but there are more immediate things to take care of as a country. Can we handle the inflation before we handle the satanic cabal? Can we handle immigration before we handle the satanic cabal? Can we handle the individual empowerment of a person's bank account before we handle the cabal? Okay. Is that just a bit more practical? What would really happen if the truth came out that there was a satanic cabal murdering children? What would that be like? We don't know. Okay. We really don't know. And there's some people who want to say, just burn it down. If it involves people in the government, if it involves world leaders, just burn it down. And that's super nihilistic. I'm not a nihilist. I want the world to function properly. I want our systems to function properly. I want the money to be okay. I want I want things to be okay. And some people just want to see the world burn. They really go full Joker on us. Even if it's not the truth, they're willing to just run with a story that they think is something worthy to run with. And so, I don't know. Long story short, dude, I don't think Trump is lying. I think he's not telling the truth right now because that truth would literally take out a lot of different positive scenarios, including peace and economics and stuff like that. And so I'm willing to trust him, but I could be wrong. And my heart is open here. There is an op going on, but that op is ultimately like there's an op against the other op. Like there's one op to make you think that that there's Epstein files talking about pedophilia, and Trump's op is to like disregard the op. Like don't even think about that. Because the way that the dark forces work, they want you to be afraid. They want you to be worried. They want you to be attached to the algorithm of fear and doubt. Okay? If there is world leaders being pedophiles, then how scared are you? How worried are you? And how focused are you really if you're always thinking about that? How focused on being the best version of yourself can you be when you're always thinking about the Epstein files? Trump is saying to not think about this anymore because there's bigger things to take care of. There's more immediate things to take care of. And so that's how I see it. Tell me what you think, man. I could be totally wrong, but I don't think I am, but I'm open to hear your thoughts, dude. That's pretty much all the value I got, dude. Let's go into the value for value section. Value for value, America Plus is a value for value show. What that means is I do my best to come forward on my feed, on my RSS feed, and on my channels to talk about something that I think is important. And I want this to be a two-way conversation. I don't want it to just be one way. If you're getting any value from this, please give me a retweet, give me a like and subscribe, comment down below, send me a DM. I want to hear what you have to say. You're able to support this podcast through your time, talent, and treasure. If you want to support me with your treasure, I got a PayPal, and you can also download the Fountain app.
Go to value4value.info for more info, then download the Fountain.fm app. It's the best way to support the show.
So Fountain is a podcast app that lets you send small bits of Bitcoin to your favorite podcasters. I got 4 different people. I got 4 folks sending me in some small bits of Bitcoin over the past week. Some of them are streaming and some of them are boosting. This is from, so a couple of these people were just streaming. We got Dreb Scott coming in last week. Dreb Scott was streaming in 24 sats a minute. Shout out to Dreb Scott. Thank you so much, Dreb.
It's basically you put Bitcoin with anything, and all of a sudden, that is more efficient.
We got some streaming sats coming in from Lyceum. What up, Lyceum? I know that guy. He's coming in from the app True Fans. Thank you so much, Lyceum. And Dreb Scott was also coming in from Castamatic. These are different modern podcast apps. And then we got a few more boosts. We got some boostograms coming in from one gentleman. His name's Chad F. Shout out to Chad F. He built a boost bot, and I think I read this live last week. But Chad F sent 1,000 sats. He said, I built this little boost bot with AI. I've been staying away from AI, but the vibe coding bug bit me, and I made this bot with it. AI is just like any other tool, and it can be used to create or destroy. That was from last week talking about AI gods.
Boosting is loving.
Thank you so much, Chad F. And then he just sent in a couple more 333 boostograms, and he said, boost test, boost bot test. They're all working, Chad. Thank you so much for your boosts.
And now, as the French say, it is time for le boost.
Shout out to those people. Those are my guys. Do I have another one? Nope, I do not. I also set up my link tree to link up my PayPal, my Cash App, my Venmo. I want to open up more avenues for value. So if you feel compelled to support America Plus in any way you can with money, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, do your thing with that. That's in my link tree. That's linked up in my podcast website and on the little value tab that you'll see. And I really want to know what you have to think about this Epstein story, because Epstein is not an easy topic to talk about. And I think a lot of people like myself think they know what's going on. But I think it's important to really discuss this thing within a truthful manner, or at least an open-minded manner, because there's a reason we're not told things, and there's a reason we're told other things. We were told that some viruses were very dangerous, and we were told some medicines always worked, and so there's like this yin yang of sometimes we're told things that are not true, and then we're told things with a little wink wink. And I tend to agree with Adam Scott when he says that this is like a commander-in-chief issue, and there's something like really juicy in there, So that's what I think is going on. So what I also want to do, so we're going to wrap up the show. We're going to wrap up the show with a song, with a value for value song. What that means is, so within value for value, America Plus is value for value. You can also, I'm playing a value for value song, and I always give the artist a 90% split. This week, I'm going to play a song by Sir Brian with an I. This song's freaking legit, dude. I heard this on the V for V radio show, and I was like, holy shit, how have I not heard this song? Or maybe I have heard it and I just forgot about it, but dude, this song is so good. I always give the artist a 90% split. So if you're listening to this in a modern podcasting app with Bitcoin, you're going to be able to send a boostagram or stream sats, and Sir Brian with an I is going to get 90% of that. So I encourage you to support the artist. This is value for value in Bitcoin. This is how we pay the artist fairly, by creating splits when we play their music. This is amazing stuff. And I just want to shout out to Sir Brian with an I for making an awesome song, and just thank you for publishing your music with an RSS feed, man. That's awesome. So, yeah, man, I'm about to play this song and we're going to wrap things up. Don't forget to send in a boostagram. Tell me what you think, and enjoy. This is Rockstar, by the way. Rockstar.
I promise not to tell you, friend, you woke up in my bed. But I've been dreaming about last night ever since the first day we met. Don't you try to blame us innocent, pretending that you're full of regret. they could see how hot you are. 'Cause I never believed that a dork like me could ever get you here. I'm like the 40-year-old virgin and you look like the playmate of the year. Started out the night behaving like a lady. 2 drinks later you went absolutely crazy. You were partying like a rock star. Took your shirt off and you started dancing on the bar. Then you grabbed me and told me what to do. And I still can't believe that I just woke up next to you. So thanks for coming home with me. Staying all night long. Let me see my virginity. 'Cause it's gone. Partying like a rock star. Took your shirt off and you started dancing on the bar. Then you grabbed me and told me what to do. And I still can't believe that I just woke up next to you. You were partying like a rock star. Took your shirt off and you started dancing on the bar. Then you grabbed me and told me what to do. And I still can't believe that I just woke up next to you. You were partying, oh yeah. You were partying like a rock star. Then you grabbed me and told me what to do. And I still can't believe that I just woke up next to you.
That's America Plus, bitch. Stay free. Boom. Ba, 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 boom. Ba, 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 boom. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. That was America Plus. I'll catch you on the flip side. West side.